There. We're live everywhere now, fellas, ladies, women, men, beings, human beings. Beings. I don't know. What would you call yourself? If you could just pick whatever, you could make it up. You could decide based on all of the information that you have about who and what you are. What would you call the species maybe that you come from, or, you know, what would you call it? Would you still call yourself a human being, or what would you call yourself? Or would you change it? Just stay human being. Person? I'd have to look into that and see what, I almost spilled my tea. To see what, Dobby is free. Toss him a sock. Hi. Okay, so I'm really quickly going to go through what's happening on Sha'Ryah Pathway of Ascension and School of Light, and also loop in Hugs for Homeless, since that is my nonprofit. So I'm going to plug that a little bit as well and just talk about what's coming up. So in August, I'm going to start with Hugs for Homeless. In August, we are doing a backpack drive. And you might be going, why in August? Well, because in Alberta, things can get cold quite quickly. If we're getting backpacks and we're doing a drive for all of August, then that means that in September, we're putting together backpacks and distributing backpacks, which is the beginning of fall. It would be really nice to be able to get like these necessities out into the hands of those who are unhoused before the cold weather hits, so that they can be prepared for what's coming, as opposed to having to deal with like really crappy temperatures and then wait for sometime in the winter, right? Alberta gets cold all the time. This has been a really cold and wet and nasty winter. Hi, Denise. How are you, love? Oh, another announcement about Hugs for Homeless is we officially have 2 board members, which means that technically we have 4 board members. We do. We have 4 board members. We just doubled our board members. We have 2 new board members, would have been the better way to capture that. So we have 4 board members, and we are in conversations with one more. Hopefully we end up with one more soon. But if not, we will, continue searching for that additional one. And the reason why is because we want to have at least a 5-member board team. With a 5-member board team, we can apply for our ALGC license. And that's something that we're looking forward to doing for Hugs for Homeless, because then we'll be able to run raffles and do things like that in order to get funds to build the backpacks so that we can get those necessities out into the community. And anything that you can do to help is always, always appreciated, whether you are just sharing our posts or you're volunteering your time, you're a board member, we appreciate you very much, or you're someone that's donating. It doesn't matter what level that you're able to offer, we appreciate it all. It's, every little bit helps, every little bit matters. So we appreciate you, and I just wanted to say that as well. Okay, so that's the news about Hugs for Homeless, is that we have the August backpack drive. So for all of August, we're really going to be pushing. Each backpack costs approximately $100 to make. So, we're going to set a number, and let's see if we can get to that number. I think we should set the number at 1,000 backpacks. I don't think that's unreasonable for us to achieve. I really don't. Not from, the number of people who live in Edmonton and surrounding areas, and that's the area that we're servicing at this time. If we can get more backpacks, we'll service a greater and greater area, right? Okay. So then the other things that we have that are announcements are for Sha'Ryah Pathway of Ascension and School of Light. For that, the one announcement is previously I was running Return to Center, and it was a 10-day course. I've decided to change that because I feel like 10 days is just a bit too long. 444 on the timer, definitely a bit too long. So I've shortened it to 7 days, and I'm going to be running that the second last week in August. then Return to Self, I was running that as a 6-week program, but running 2 sessions per week. I've decided instead to change that to an 8-week program and every other week giving a Saturday session. The Saturday session is an integration session, but it has also got a portion of it that is designated for questions from those individuals who were unable to attend either or both lives that were handled within that 2-week period. So if they've watched the replay, you have the opportunity to come on Saturday and ask questions about those 2 episodes. So you get 4 of those sessions, which means that you're still getting 12 sessions. It's just that the way that it's structured is slightly different. And I think that it'll work better for those who are attending those sessions. So those are the announcements for Hugs for Hugs for Homeless and for Sha'Ryah. Pathway of Ascension and School of Light. The other thing I have to announce, though, is there are trauma and nervous system support sessions. These are one-to-one sessions that are available at Sha'Ryah, so you can check those sessions out as well. Okay, I have 5 sessions that I have opened up for the remainder of July. So if you're looking for a session, get in on those, because once those 5 sessions are done, I'm closed for the rest of July. Okay, what are we going to talk about today? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to learn? What are your questions? Hi, Anika. Hi, how are you? All right, I'm going to give myself a couple of taps. Oops, 777. Hi, Kedra. How are you? I'll say hi to you as well. I'm going to give myself some likes on the other channel. Hi, Christine. How are you doing, Kedra? I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. I was a little bit late tonight because I took my dog for a walk, and because there's so many mosquitoes, so you're like literally batting them off of you the whole entire time, I got overheated and I had to spend some time cooling down. You know, when you're running away, like you get so bad, you're just running away from them and you're like, I can't take this anymore. You're just like, it just overwhelms you. That's where I got to. I got to that. I just don't, nope. So it took me a little while to cool back down and be like, okay, I can go do my live now. It was too much. Whereabouts are you? Right? The mosquitoes are insane this year. They're terrible. There's so many. They're so big. They're so ferocious. Oh my goodness. I have to check and make sure that wasn't my, I have to check and make sure a bird didn't just hit the window, guys. Wait 1 second. Maybe it was you. Did you bump it? Did you bump it? Is that what it was? Is that what it was? Was you just bumped it? Maybe, huh? Maybe. Sorry, that just sounded really suspicious how hard that hit the window. So I had to go and investigate. But I save them all. But if it's a bird, like I would have had to do what I had to do and take care of it. You know, sometimes you just have to ferry them across because there's nothing that you can do, but you can just hold them with a little bit of love and care until, you know, they cross over, and that's all you're doing. I am going to pull out my deck of cards and I am going to check in with things. I've been doing readings basically using the elements because I've been studying the elements, and I love talking about how they relate to everything when you think about these energies that are moving through you all the time. With your energy being your emotions, right? Your emotions being water element. So that experience as well. Hello. How are you? Oh, I did say I was going to read my message. I'm going to check in with my cards. I did do a reading this morning on my Sha'Ryah and Lorian channel, which is this one on this here. I did do a reading on there, and I can go through that as well. It was using the elements, and I have all the cards still separated, so I don't have to shuffle them and go through it again. I'll just read the answer again. I'm so warm. Ugh. Still warm. I have a little fan down here. I don't use the air conditioner. It's not something that I'm a fan of so much. I don't know about you, but I just not a fan of the air conditioner. So I only turn it on when I feel like I have to. I was teaching today and forgot to close the curtains out in the other room. And I was in this room, so I didn't notice it. I mean, I noticed it was getting warm, but that's also because I thought because I was in this room and anyway. When I went out into the other room, oh my goodness, it was almost 30 degrees in there. It was so warm. So yeah, anyway. All right, we got those two. What else do we have? I just wanted to pull a couple oracle cards. Just for just general reading. I'm going to read the channeled message that I pulled for this, like what I wrote this morning. Pulling cards, crossing chambers. Okay. This is the channeled message, the channeled spiritual message that came up this morning. So often we are do, go. And when we rest, there is still noise or stimulation of some sort still being experienced. When is the last morning where you woke up without busying yourself on your phone or with some other distraction? When is the last time you woke up with yourself, your coffee or tea, and me, the ether element, the silence, just being present? When is the last time you sat outside and just listened, just watched the life around you? We have been scared on purpose about nature, the bugs, icky, stinky, stingy crawlies, the weather, too wet, too dry, too humid, too cold, too snowy, too much, or not enough. And then the dirt. Ew, don't get dirty, as if there wasn't a way to get clean. When most people think of spending time in nature, they think of the beach or another location near the water. They go for a week and spend much of it drinking and eating and getting sunburned on a pool chair. Then they go back to their homes and jobs and see nature pass by their window as they drive to and fro. You are nature. You are a part of this all. And until we realize that, we won't be the stewards of it. How do you get someone who thinks nature is dirt and bugs and terrible or unpredictable weather to want to take care of it? It is so much a part of you that without it, we all die. Yes, without it, we all die. You are nature. You are natural. And when something targets nature and you see a reduction in plant life, in species, in bugs, and flora and fauna, when you see more trees dying and less butterflies flying, know with certainty that you too are slowly dying. The reason you haven't noticed is because you see yourself as separate from it, and because the death of all other life is happening slowly. And it's being called climate change. It's not. It's the powers that be messing with a very intricate and amazing ecosystem for profit and a lack of consideration for life. Every person who remembers they are a part of nature are one more person who supports life. The seen, the micro, the unseen, the macro, the human, the animal, the plants, all life seen and unseen. See it and protect it. That was the channeled message that came up today. As long as we see ourselves as separate from something, we do not have the heart, the passion to protect it like we would if we realized how much it matters. And even those of us that look at it and go, yes, I care, I care, I care. But do you really? What are you doing to, right? Hello. How are you? I had to make sure I get the things up. Oh, I have a couple of cards first. I have them cards as well. Just hang on a second, okay? All right. So the one card that came out, and this may be a message for you, Sarah. It's called The First Step. The affirmation, every path begins with a single step. So if you're looking for good news, the first step indicates newness in a journey. So that very much could be a yes for you. All right. Every path begins with a single step. The remembrance. Progress is built from small, consistent actions. Waiting for certainty delays movement. Action clarifies what thinking cannot. The next step is enough. Choose one 5-minute action, complete it now, and record what changed. Okay, so what that card's saying at the end of the day is that, you know, we often delay doing something until the conditions are perfect. We have some idea in our mind that it has to be a certain way before we even start. And when we do that, all we do is keep delaying it and delaying it and delaying it because we're waiting for that perfect condition to be met. And that becomes a one day, someday, not today, someday, right? So we have to be careful about that and make sure that we're not choosing to delay the first step because we're waiting for it to be perfect before we begin. Okay. That's like, you know, waiting for somebody that they have to be absolutely perfect before you say yes. I mean, you should listen to your intuition, but we have to be careful we're not boxing ourselves in. All right. Then the other card that came out for us is the creative spark. And the affirmation is creativity flows naturally through me. Remembrance, creativity is expression, not performance. It increases energy when used. Small outputs keep it active. So this is a card that I'm glad I pulled because I needed to hear this because I set myself up to paint and I've only painted like twice since I did that. That's not nearly enough time. And why? Because I'm often thinking about that from the aspect of doing something bigger or, you know, because I'm always creating things. I've made so many decks of cards. All these images are images that I painted. These are all images that I did on Procreate for these cards. So, but creativity, not for performance, not for money, not for any of that, just for creativity's sake. I have to remember that, right? And so that's a message for me as well as anyone else that it resonates with. So the practice is to create for 10 minutes, no editing, stop on time. So set a little timer, do 10 minutes, say for me, of painting watercolors for 10 minutes, and then that's it. Away you go. Hello, how are you doing? How's your evening? All right, so earlier today, I did a reading with my tarot deck, and I have to make sure that I am doing them in the right way. And I remember them, so we're good. Okay. All right, so we have, this is basically an elemental spread, and I do one of these each day to check in, pretty much each day, to check in on the energy of the collective. And so today, the cards that came out for the Earth was the Four of Earth, but it was the Four of Earth in the inverted position. And when it's in the inverted position, it carries the message of maybe clinging too much to things. We may be in a very stable position, but if we're not allowing currency to flow, which is what money is meant to be in flow. If we're clinging too tightly and we're afraid to spend any of it, that signals to the universe that we are living in lack, because we're thinking, well, if I spend this, I'm going to not get anything back. And that's a message for me as well. I just realized I have some money that I need to spend on advertising, but I've been waiting for a specific moment for some reason. So see, the message has come back to me as well. The Four of Earth invites you to examine your relationship with stability and control. Are you using your reservoirs, your resources wisely, or are you being afraid to let go? True abundance flows when you find the balance between saving and sharing, structure and flow, holding in and letting go. So there is that. It's got to be in flow, or it should be in flow. All right, water today came out with the Seven of Water, and the Seven of Water is about choices, dreams, imagination, opportunities, wishful thinking, illusions, and spiritual awakening. The Seven of Water reminds you that while life is full of possibilities, discernment is key. Not every option is in alignment with your highest timeline. Trust your heart and intuition to guide you toward the path meant for you. And when you are in alignment, your intuition or your discernment is easier to feel. It's more aligned. The Four of Earth is great at, or the Earth is asking us to ground, right? And when we ground into our body, we become more present in the moment. So the two of these together work really well for us to connect to our discernment, but we need them all. We need them all. When we're wanting to increase our discernment, nothing comes in better than the King of Air if we're going to pull a card for our discernment, because this at least means that our thoughts are clear. The King of Air is the master of thoughts and communication, because thoughts and communication and sound are all governed by the air element. So this is mastery of thought, strong leadership, communication, truth-seeking, higher wisdom, integrity, and objectivity. So this is really powerful to have for discernment. So we've got a lot of discernment going on here. The King of Air is the sovereign of wisdom, strategy, and mental clarity. He challenges you to rise into mental sovereignty, make wise decisions, and wield your words with power. Stand firm in your knowledge and allow truth and wisdom to guide your path. All right. Fire came out with the Three of Fire, but the Three of Fire in the reverse position. I need a drink. I'm going to have a drink of my water. Just hang on. Sometimes it's just really yummy and you just can't stop. So you just keep sipping, sipping, sipping. Okay. The Three of Fire, reverse. The Three of Fire in reverse speaks about doubt and impatience, delays in manifestations, lack of confidence, and hesitation in moving forward. So we maybe, because this fear that we have here, there's that hesitation, because this was in reverse as well. So there's that fear of loss, or maybe we're operating under greed. There's a resistance to change, or the over attachment to something. And that's literally burning us out with this Three of Fire. The Three of Fire, that impatient, like there's that, we want things to change. We want to see that change, but in order for us to allow it to change, we have to be in alignment. We have to be in we have to be discerning what is in alignment with us and making the most aligned decision each time. That's what the fire wants us to do, is to always make the most aligned decisions and to also transmute things, right? So let's transmute what is done, what is past, what is, and the truth of the emotions, transmuting those as well. because a lot of times we were holding them in the wrong space. So when we do that, when we transfer that understanding from, oh, I thought I was angry, but I was actually hurtful, that's a way that we transmute that energy, and we can call on fire to help with that. So the Three of Fire calls you to keep going, to trust in the path ahead, and embrace the momentum that is carrying you toward greatness. You are moving with divine purpose. This is only the beginning. So these two, I think, are going hand in hand, the two that are in reverse. But whoever is experiencing this, they know that they have a lot of choices. They are really spending their times with their emotions. They're not losing it at this point. They're making wise decisions because they're sitting with their discernment, and they're really, really mastering their thoughts. So well done on that. And then we have the Queen of Ether coming out for the ether element. And this is talking about divine wisdom, heightened intuition, multidimensional mastery, celestial guidance, and profound spiritual leadership. The Queen of Ether is the beacon of all celestial love and divine illumination. She is here to remind you that you are a sovereign being of light, fully capable of accessing infinite wisdom and guiding others through light and wisdom. So that wisdom comes from within. And the Three of Fire maybe had us looking external to us, looking for somebody else to direct us or to guide us in some way. And that was leading us astray because we needed to be looking inwardly and allowing ourselves through our discernment and, through alignment with what lights us up to guide us forward. And the Queen of Ether is coming in here to help us with that. Okay. All right, two more cards, and the two more cards we got are the High Priestess and the Emperor. This is from the Major Arcana. Whenever I do one of these elemental spreads, I like to just take one element. I like to take one Major Arcana card as well. This time two came out and I decided to go with it. So this is the High Priestess, the Emperor. This could mean that there's a union coming of two very divine masculine and a very spiritual divine feminine. You could look at it this way. It could also look that this person who is navigating through all of this, and trust me, nothing's perfect and you're not meant to be perfect at any moment. So even if you are kind of, you're in this stable spot and maybe you could be, a little more fluid with the money that you have because maybe you are holding on to it a little bit too much, which could be signaling that fear that it's not going to come back to you. Right? Not wanting to waste it, that kind of concept. This maybe the waiting for what's coming to come. You've been putting in a lot of work and a lot of effort, right? And you're just waiting and waiting. So doubt's starting to seep in. Why isn't it here yet? That could be what this card is saying for you. It could be just your confidence starting to wear down because, why are there only 4 people watching my live? Right? That's what this card could be representing, is that type of energy. Okay. And it could be just that hesitation in moving forward because that the decision that you need to make in order to move forward is going to upset an apple cart or two. Maybe you're going to have to deal with someone being upset about it or, hurt or things like that. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Fire. This means that we are being asked to look at the wisdom within. Stop giving our sovereignty to other people, right? When you do seek out counsel to be wise or that to be aligned in the same way that you wish to be aligned. Things like that, right? You're looking for somebody that is a leader by example, not just by she's got 17 million followers, she must be amazing. Not necessarily. Deepak had a lot of followers and he wasn't all that in the end. All right, so we have the Emperor. This is leadership. This is structure. It's stability, protection, divine authority, mastery over physical reality, discipline, taking control. The Emperor reminds you that true power is not about vision and the courage to create a lasting legacy. Step into your sovereignty, take responsibility for your path, and lead with unwavering strength. The world is ready for the foundation you are building. So powerful, powerful card. And if this is all about one person, this is, like I said, someone who is very much in control of both their masculine and feminine. the Emperor, really the height of, like that masculine energy, very much legacy level wealth, right? This is a leader. And then you've got the spiritual, the High Priestess. Like this is the highest spiritual card really within major arcana. Now there is the Hierophant, but the Hierophant looks at spirituality from a more traditional standpoint versus the High Priestess, who comes from it from a very much more spiritual way, a more intuitive way. Or this would be more the feminine aspect of spirituality, or the expression of spirituality, and the Hierophant, the masculine expression of spirituality. So we've got the Hierophant, we've got the High Priestess. Saying it too many times. We've got the High Priestess, and this is deep intuition, sacred knowledge, inner wisdom, connection to the subconscious, divine feminine energy, dreams and visions, and trusting the unseen. This is a time to trust your inner knowing and seek wisdom from beyond the material world. The High Priestess is your reminder that true power is found in stillness, in listening, and in aligning with unseen forces that guide you. Honor your inner voice. It knows the way. So it's really powerful, okay? Okay. Right? It's so cute. It's just so cute. There. Someone put down some interesting comments. And I had to block them because that was not appropriate. Not appropriate. I don't know, what was I going to do tonight? Today I taught, today the class that I taught was on boundaries. It was on boundaries, but more from an embodied way, right? As we're moving through all of our experiences, we are, hang on. Hello, Bonnie. How are you? Sorry, hang on one second. I have to do checking something. Okay. So about boundaries being an act of leadership, and some of the things that came out of that conversation and out of that teaching today is how the sooner that we put a boundary in place, the sooner that we can protect ourselves and others from pain, right? So the sooner that you can say, I can't, I don't do this, then the sooner that you aren't, say, ignoring your boundaries. And because, for whatever reason, maybe guilt, maybe fear of disconnection from whichever individual that you're setting the boundary up with. And when we have that fear of that boundary, and like the loss of that boundary, if somebody doesn't agree to the boundary, and we have to enforce the final, I can't do that, we can't be friends anymore, you didn't listen to my boundary. Too many of us are worried about that loss of connection, and hence then we end up ignoring our own boundaries, which then creates resentment, because then we start to resent the person because we're not putting a boundary in. We're not saying this is what I can handle, this is what I can tolerate, this is where my edge is. I can't deal with anything beyond that. And so if we're not, it's not that we necessarily truly resent the individual, because the individual maybe wouldn't do that if the individual had a clear-cut boundary put in place, and you just had to speak clearly about that. So when we put a boundary in place, it's an act of leadership. It's a way that we protect other people and ourselves from hurt that didn't need to happen. Because if we had just been clear, sorry, I forgot to put the StreamYard. Yes, that's the one I want. Open in a new. No, I don't think that's the one I wanted. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. because you can put the comments in a new window so you can set them up differently. And I like to do that because I can put them, I have one big screen, so I can put them up nice and big and then I don't miss them. But when I leave them on this screen, I forgot about them. So anyway, I've done that now. Okay, we are good now. We are good. Okay. So how are you doing with your boundaries? Or do you find that you can? Aw, that's cool. I don't remember that. Don't remember that. Interesting. It's interesting what people get up to these days, though. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, hey? How are you doing? Aw, no, sorry. Must be, when you get around that time in life when you start to do activities like that, that you may also be affected with something like dementia or Alzheimer's, maybe just some memory issues. I don't know. It's a possibility. Hi, how are you? Sure, buddy, sure. Yeah, sure. Ugh, it's just fun. Hi, how are you? How is your how is your Wednesday going? I had to think about which day it was for a second there. Oh yeah, whereabouts are you located? I mean, we've been having a lot of storms. This whole year has been just crazy. Um, yeah, I think I've had 7 tornado warnings in the area around me, probably in about 100-kilometer radius, I would think. Yeah, it's just does not make any sense. I'm in Alberta, but where I was down here today, we didn't get too much storm. It was quite warm though. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get a thunderstorm, because that's usually what that heat means is another storm's on its way. Did you see the stuff that happened down Rocky Mountain House with that tornado that went through? I think there might have actually been two. It was a little bit crazy. Hello, how are you? How are you? hmm Yeah, so I was talking about how I was teaching a class today on boundaries. What is it that I am? Oops, shoot. Sometimes my mouse, it expands and minimizes everything. how how are you doing, Alicia? All right. Okay. It's really annoying when my mouse gets all messed up. So how's everybody doing? How are you doing? How is your night going? Okay. So tomorrow, the class that I'm teaching is going to be about building internal safety instead of seeking external safety. And I'm running this course through my membership space, which is called Balanced Self Sanctuary. So you can check that out at my website, which is linked in my bio. The next time that I am live is going to be on Saturday. On Saturday at 10 a.m. Mountain, and I do a global meditation. We get together for unity, love, peace, respect. Only I do truth instead of respect, but I've been doing this since March 21st on summer solstice. There was a global meditation and everyone was getting together for that purpose. And I've kept it going every Saturday. So every Saturday, you can join my live at 10 a.m. Mountain, and we will be doing a global meditation for peace and unity and stuff. And I think I'm going to just start it earlier. I'm going to start it specifically at a certain point, like at quarter after, no later, we're starting it. That way those that are coming specifically for the meditation are going to be able to just enjoy the meditation instead of, going through cards or any educational stuff. So I think I'll be doing that in the future. Alrighty, so I did my announcements. I hung out for a little bit. I pulled some cards. I talked about the spiritual message. And I think that that's all that I'm going to do tonight. I think I'm going to shut it down and just go and try to stay cool because it is warm here tonight. And I will see you guys tomorrow with the content that I'm posting. And if you're looking for some help returning to yourself or returning to your center, stay tuned and know that those courses are 2 courses that will be run in August and September. One is a 7-day little course and the other one is an 8-week full course. Alrighty. Hi. Hello. How are you? How are things going? I'm warm. Hi, Trevor. I gotta drop that right away. I'm warm. Good news. Hi, OG uncle. I don't do it that way. I have to spend time with you. Nice. I'm glad that you found somebody that can represent you. And I send you all the best energy that they will represent you in like to the best of their ability and everything goes well. Hi, Spiffington. How are you? You're welcome. Of course, I wish you all the best. Yeah, Uncle, I don't do that. I have had that before where someone has asked to join my live when I didn't know them. And then they just take advantage of that. So I don't do that with somebody that I've never met. I have to have conversation with you, know who you are before I allow you on my feed. I'm doing this as a part of my business, as a part of my company. I help people with trauma and mental health. I do trauma support sessions. I work in guiding people on their spiritual journey. I talk about a lot of very deep topics and hold a lot of sensitive information, or even work with people in vulnerable spaces. So I don't just trust anybody because I can't have that level here. Okay, tell me about the bad news. I'll put some good energy around the bad news. Just don't get me blocked or anything. It's interesting, this light that's happening here. Hey, I don't know if you're catching that. I think so. How it's very. It was really neat. Yes. um Washington. Don't you think so? Instead of where in the world is Waldo, where in the world is Spiffington? And of course you're always dressed like very, very fun. Right. What do you think about, oh, he left. He didn't like that idea. If you're asking that question, it is on the eastern side of the US, Virginia, not South Virginia, West Virginia. So Virginia is more inland, whereas West Virginia has a. That's what I know. West Virginia is along the ocean and Virginia's not. Which seems kind of weird because you would think West Virginia or South Carolina. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Now I'm all confused. Oh my goodness. All people, they might laugh at me. I'm kidding. I'm like, I would not care. How many people would not know about Canada if you asked them about it in the States or even around the world? How many would know nothing about our country, right? Oh. You don't have to apologize. You weren't doing anything wrong. Yeah. Yeah, you weren't doing anything wrong. The new religious laws, yeah, in our lovely country here. They're really, really, really going after our freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. Yep. Just put a protective bubble around ourselves. Right? Yeah. I'm sorry. This office is closed and the sun got to that point where it was just beating down on me in here. And so when I went into the main living room, I had forgot to close the blinds and stuff like that. So it was really warm in there. And then I took my dog for a walk and I had to run and run and run away from all the mosquitoes. Yeah, definitely not, Leslie. Definitely not. Yeah, I had to run away from the mosquitoes. And then by the time I got back to the house, I was completely overheated. And I haven't really fully cooled down yet. So I've been online for almost an hour and a half now. I'm about 10 or 15 minutes short of it because I started late because I had to cool down. Maybe I've been on for a little over an hour now. But yeah, I have some stuff that I'm teaching. I love the message that I channeled this morning. I thought it was so beautiful. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think I realized that something to do with my content because I think I put out just too much stuff that's too long And so many people want more short messages because we've been taught to have such a short attention span. And, you know, the stuff that I'm teaching you, you definitely have to have a bigger attention span, because, you know, I'm asking you to do stuff that's going to really create powerful. And I'll read you the message again, Leslie, because it's such a good message. Okay. So anyone can channel a message like I do. This is automatic writing. It's a form of channeling. I do a whole routine in the morning. I do breath work. I do toning. You know, like I do Om. I do that for about 5 minutes every morning. A bunch of different things. So I do a bunch of different things in the morning. And then after I'm done doing all of these things, I am all, you know, in the present moment, and I ask for a message for the collective, and then I just allow whatever comes out to come out, and I write it down. And then I usually read it first when I'm reading it to you at some point, or recording it in the morning. I didn't get around to that today, so I'll read it for you here so that you can hear the message. All right. So often we are do, go, go, go. And when we rest, there is still noise or stimulation of some sort still being experienced. When is the last morning where you woke up without busying yourself on your phone or with some other distraction? When is the last time you woke up with yourself, your coffee or tea, and me, the ether element, the silence? Just being present. When is the last time you sat outside and just listened, just watched the life around you? We have been scared on purpose about nature. The bugs, icky, stinky, stingy crawlies. The weather, too wet, too dry, too humid, too cold, too snowy, too much, or not enough. And then the dirt. Ew, don't get dirty, as if there wasn't a way to get clean. When most people think of spending time in nature, they think of the beach or another location near the water. They go for a week and spend much of it drinking and eating and getting sunburned on a pool chair. Then they go back to their homes and jobs and see nature pass by their window as they drive to and fro. You are nature. You are a part of this all. And until we realize that, we won't be the stewards of it. How do you get someone who thinks nature is dirt and bugs and terrible or unpredictable weather to want to take care of it? It is so much a part of you that without it, we all die. Yes, without it, we all die. You are nature. You are natural. And when something targets nature and you see a reduction in plant life, in species, in bugs, in flora and fauna, when you see more trees dying and less butterflies flying, know with certainty that you too are slowly dying. The reason you haven't noticed is because you see yourself as separate from it, and because the death of all other life is happening slowly, and it's being called climate change. It's not. It's the powers that be messing with a very intricate and amazing ecosystem for profit and a lack of consideration for life. Every person who remembers they are a part of nature are one more person who supports life, the seen, the micro, the unseen, the macro, the human, the animal, the plant, all life. See it and protect it. I thought that was a great message this morning. Right? And I think that's a huge reason why that's not what's taught to our children. We're not taught that we are of nature. We are taught that we are separate from it, because when we have separation from that, then we have it doesn't bother us that it's being destroyed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so I enjoy doing these daily messages. I write them for the I definitely have permission to relax. I definitely do. Well, I've created so many education programs. I've shown up every day for 5 years on my company, and it doesn't matter whether there's 4 people watching, 0 people watching, doesn't matter. I show up. I show up whether anyone cheers or whether anyone pays money, I just show up. I show up for me. I show up over and over again for me, and I just keep refining as I go, keep creating and keep learning. And yeah, one of the things I've learned is that it is absolutely okay to rest. It is absolutely okay to rest. I do not have to do anything to be worthy. Neither do you. Neither do you. Alrighty. I'm going to see if there's one more card from the 44 Keys of the Way. We had the new step, and then we had the creative spark, I think was the other one. So I'll disregard if one of them comes out again because I forgot to leave them out. I put them back in. Whoa. That's too many. But oh my God, the light of discernment. I'm like, there's only 2 that are upside down. The rest of them all came out the other way, like by the sense of how their back showing. And they were these 2. So the one is the light of discernment. And what the light of discernment is about is I trust my ability to sense truth. Remembrance, discernment is felt before it is explained. The body registers alignment and misalignment quickly. Trust grows by checking and choosing repeatedly. Right? Clarity compounds with use. So as you make as you take steps and you make decisions and you head in that direction and you're like, okay, I made that decision and that decision worked out. And I made that decision and that decision worked out. And even the ones that don't work out, what did I learn from that decision and how can I apply it to the next situation so that that one may work out, right? And that's all that you're meant to do is each moment be the most aligned for the future you that you can be. So for this one here, you present 2 options. Feel each one in your body and then choose the one that feels steady, not urgent. So that's how you discern between one and the other option is how it feels in your body. All right. And then we have the quiet mind. The affirmation is I allow my mind to rest in silence. Look at that. We're back to rest, Leslie. I think I have to go meditate after this. Remembrance. Silence is not absence. It is access. When input reduces, insight increases. The mind can learn to rest without losing awareness. From quiet, precision returns. The practice, set a 3-minute timer, no input, each thought return to your breath. All right. I think that's a fantastic idea. And like I said, I'm almost at an hour and a half here. I thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me. I appreciate you so much, right? I truly, truly do. Please work. Thank you, Francis. I appreciate you. I just wanted to check and see who else was watching. And thank you, Christine, so much for hanging out with me. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. And I will see you, I guess today's Wednesday. So then Saturday at 10 a.m. global meditation. And then Sunday at 7:30 p.m. So the same time, but Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain. 10 a.m. Mountain on Saturday. Global meditation, 10 a.m. Saturday. Right here. I'll see you then. I love you. Have a wonderful night. And I will talk to you Saturday. Saturday. Saturday.